Well, going the barbell route may not be for everybody, but our next guest says if you want to be fit and not fat, you have got to get tough.
That gentleman you see there is Steve Siebold, a speaker on mental toughness. His book is called Die Fat or Get Tough. It's what he calls tough love messages for people who want to avoid the epic of obesity. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Thanks for coming. And this has been a little bit
freezing outside. I came from Palm Beach.
Oh, we don't want to hear your little whining from Palm. Get tough. Get tough.
Yeah,
Steve.
exactly,
That's what you
exactly.
preach. All right, this really all comes from an inner place. You were a tennis athlete. You put on 40 pounds, you dropped it, and then you wrote about it.
Exactly, yeah. I write books on mental toughness training for different topics, and this obesity epidemic is just out of control, and it's all our own fault. I mean, I did the same thing. We're making excuses, and we're making ourselves obese, and it's sad.
But don't people worry that your language is a little harsh, Steve? We have to be accepting of everything, and we hear all the time different body sizes, body shapes, and you say, well, maybe the mirror is the ultimate judge here?
How's that working for us? I mean, we're getting fatter as a country every single year. People are dying from this. I mean, it's a serious problem. Little kids, I mean, do you remember when you went to school having all these fat kids in your class?
Well, a lot of recess has been eliminated. So some of it I do think is systemic. So let's get to your book. What is it that you're telling people out there? Stop blaming people, we get that. But beyond that, what do you say?
The premise of the book is if you're fat, it's your fault. You've got to grow up emotionally, get tough with yourself, and fix it. Or you're going to die young, or you're going to have diabetes, or you're going to suffer the injustices that fat people suffer. Socially, career-wise, I mean, it's just, fat people are discriminated against. They shouldn't be, but they are, and so that's what it is.
I know that people are, it's more difficult to get a job and so forth, and obviously in a romantic sense that it's more of a challenge for people.
Sure.
So, but bigger people are aware of those situations now too. Why is it we can't seem to get a message across of smaller portions or caloric counting and so forth?
I think it's the message that doctors don't want to deliver to their patients. I've interviewed doctors all over the world about this, and they said, hey, you know what? I've got patients here. I'll lose patients like crazy if I start telling them what they really need to hear, which is put the fork down. Stop stuffing the pizza and donuts in your mouth and really go to the gym. Start exercising. People don't want to hear that message, so we coddle them and we're enabling them.
We are certainly in a society where everything is politically correct and everybody's afraid to step on everybody's toes. You don't care about that. And
I'm really a nice guy. I really am.
Really, Steve. Well, let's talk about this. I think it's interesting. Some of your appearances, you said you've gotten death threats.
Yeah. When I work in Europe and I go on the TV circuit and whatnot, they give me security because I've had death threats about this, and all I'm saying is it's our responsibility. I got fat too, so I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying we need to get real here. We need to grow up.
Do something and get tough about it.
Right.
But some people will say it's genetics. They can't help it. My mom's big, my grandmother was big, and it's just that's our body make.
Of the different things that you hear. How much do you buy? How many people out there do you think, okay, legitimately, you do have an issue?
There are less than 1% of the people in the population in America have a medical condition that leads them to obesity. My book's not about that. It's not about that. Some people have a psychological disorder, eating disorders, but it really is a tiny percentage of the population. It's been way overblown, and the rest of us, some people have a more difficult time than others losing weight, but it's still our responsibility.
And I think it's interesting. This wouldn't be for just people who want to diet or whatever to read this book. You also do this as part of business world, business life.
Right. I speak on mental toughness training for sales teams of large corporations, Fortune 500 companies. Yeah. So I write on mental toughness and critical thinking. That's my job.
Very, very interesting. I notice I'm kind of going, sitting next to you.
You look great. You guys look
I'm telling
great.
you what, you got me a little nervous.
I just want to see you on Valentine's Day. He opens his mailbox and there's nothing in there.
Chocolate!
Yeah.
You don't give anybody in your family chocolate.
No chocolate. No chocolate. I've had too many of them.
All right. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Steve Siebold talks about applying mental toughness to several topics, from getting fit to getting rich. You can find out more about him online at speakerstevesiebold.com.
We'll be right back with more Great Day Live. Stay tuned.